Let me hit you with something wild right off the bat. My HOA president, Nancy, literally got herself arrested for breaking into my ranch, smashing open my gun safe with a freaking sledgehammer at 3 a.m. Yeah, I wish I was exaggerating it. And within hours, she had the FBI, ATF, and half the alphabet soup parked on my front lawn. Not for me, but for her. All that chaos started over a safe that, to her, screamed arsenal, but in reality held nothing more than $50,000 worth of rare Brazilian rosewood and my late father's antique woodworking tools. But it gets better. Turns out, the real secret inside that safe wasn't guns at all, but the smoking gun the feds had been hunting for across 5 states. Stick around, because by the end of this, you'll understand why justice sometimes tastes downright delicious. You know how city life wears you down, right? After 20 years of listening to people argue through thin walls and praying your car was still in the lot every morning, I finally escaped. Bought myself a little slice of Pine Ranch, far enough outside town that you could almost hear yourself think. The guy who sold it to me, Bill, threw in this giant, 300-kilo safe old ranch armory, used to keep rifles, bolted to the floor. Pain in the butt to move, he said. I never owned a gun, didn't need one. But as a woodworker, it was the perfect vault for all that rosewood and the tools Dad left me. That was my pride, stuff you can't buy anymore, and it needed just the right climate. So yeah, I babied that safe like some people baby their firstborn. 3 days after moving in, trouble made its entrance. There's Nancy Whitaker, my friendly new neighbor, standing on the property line with binoculars pressed to her face, scribbling notes like she was getting paid by the hour. First time we met, she'd handed me the HOA rulebook, 3 inches thick, already highlighted. Her husband Tom hovered behind her, looking like a hostage, and 20 minutes later, I knew more about lawn height than I ever wanted to. That night, I get this email. Urgent safety concern regarding your property. Attached? Blurry photos of my safe, snapped through my workshop window, red circles around every word that looked scary. Her message, in that sugary, concerned citizen tone, accused me of installing a military-grade weapons storage unit and warned that the community has strict rules about firearms. Perhaps we should discuss this at the next HOA meeting, she wrote. I just stared at my screen, half laughing, half panicking. My safe, just wood and hand tools, and suddenly, I'm a threat to national security. I tried to clear things up, told her I'm not a gun nut, just a woodworker, but her reply was instant. Your evasiveness is troubling, Mr. Carter. I've been HOA president for 15 years. I know when someone's hiding something. That's when I realized logic wasn't going to work. To her, every safe was a conspiracy. I learned later that her ex-husband once hid $200,000 in a safe she never found during the divorce. Ever since, every new neighbor was a suspect, every safe a ticking bomb. Next HOA meeting, Nancy rolls in with a full-blown PowerPoint. Neighborhood security threats. My safe's photo, blown up on the screen, red arrows, dramatic sound effects. We have a situation, she says. Mr. Carter has installed the weapons vault. She throws out automatic weapons. What about the children? All while Tom's in the back, fighting off a nap. People start whispering, and when she demands action, Tom jerks awake and claps at the worst possible time, making half the room laugh and Nancy's face go beet red. One neighbor, Sophia, gave me a sympathetic shake of the head. Clearly, I wasn't the first to cross Nancy's radar. I called the sheriff. Nancy again, he groaned, told me to document everything, maybe install cameras, and try not to let her get to me. But something told me Nancy wasn't just going to let this drop. So, I spent the next day setting up cameras, night vision, motion alerts, the whole 9 yards. I even pointed one right at the safe. Later that night, reviewing the footage, I noticed Nancy had walked by 17 times, sometimes whispering into her phone about weapons and ranch armory. 3 days later, at 3:17 a.m., my phone exploded with alerts. I opened the feed, and there she is, dressed in black, sledgehammer in hand, channeling some deranged burglar version of Every Breath You Take as she swung at my safe. Not even kidding, she was singing as she attacked. After 10 minutes, she finally pried a corner open, shone her flashlight in, and let out a frustrated scream when all she saw was wood. Then she started tearing at the safe with her bare hands, cursing about her broken acrylic nails, $70 down the drain. Tom stumbled in, rubbing his eyes, muttering numbers 53, 54, while Nancy barked at him to leave. On her way out, she tripped my sprinklers and got drenched head to toe, cursing like a sailor. It was all caught on crystal-clear video. I debated calling the cops right away, but decided to wait, make copies, secure the evidence. Next morning, I found Nancy's phone under my workbench. No password. Her recent texts made my blood run cold. Pine Ranch assessment in progress. Target has large safe marked Ranch Armory. Proceeding with standard protocol. Other texts described coordinated property devaluations, enforcement actions, a whole network behind her. Suddenly, Nancy's antics weren't just crazy, they were criminal. She stormed back up my driveway, Tom in tow, demanding her phone. As she ranted, Tom just held up his own phone, mouth forming 54 again. I realized he was documenting everything. Every time Nancy did something nuts, Tom would count, record, make a note. Turns out, he wasn't oblivious, he was undercover, but I didn't know that yet. The next twist? Reviewing my footage, I saw Nancy, back in her office, photoshopping images, literally adding AK-47s and grenades into her shots of my safe. Practicing fake 911 calls in the mirror, hysterical, then tearful, then angry, cycling through personas. I recorded it all. Then, the morning exploded. FBI, ATF, SWAT, sirens blaring, officers everywhere. Ethan Carter, come out with your hands up. I walk out, still holding my garden trowel, trying not to laugh or cry. I tell Special Agent Miller I have footage to show him, and as he watches Nancy fabricating evidence, his face goes from suspicion to shock to something like relief. Turns out, Nancy's scheme was already under federal investigation. Across the country, neighborhoods had been targeted the same way, phony weapons threats, property values tanked. Then mystery buyers swoop in. Nancy comes running up, clutching her fake photos, trying her best terrified victim routine. Miller exposes her on the spot, metadata, timestamps, her own computer. Then Tom steps forward, drops the bomb. 54 times, Nancy, in 2 years. I've documented every single break-in. For the first time, she's speechless. They cuff her right there. As she passes, she hisses, "You have no idea what you've done. This is bigger than you think." Honestly, I was starting to believe her. The agents opened my safe, just rosewood, tools, and a forgotten folder from the previous owner. Turns out, that folder was full of legal files, evidence from a federal case, Sophia Alvarez versus Nancy Whitaker. Sophia, the quiet neighbor, shows up, no longer retired, but a former prosecutor whose family Nancy had destroyed years ago with the same scam. She explains it all. Nancy and her associates orchestrated fake threats, triggered raids, ruined families, bought up homes for pennies, and repeated the cycle across 5 states. Tom reveals he's actually Special Agent Tom Morrison, undercover for 2 years. His job? Collect evidence from the inside, even if it meant playing the world's sleepiest husband. The FBI launches simultaneous raids across the country, arrests pouring in. In the interrogation room, Nancy tries to act tough but crumbles as the evidence mounts: phone calls, recordings, financial records, even her own training manual for other HOA presidents. One by one, her co-conspirators flip, revealing a network of 52 participants and $50 million in fraud. In court, Nancy is a shell of her former self. The jury doesn't buy her act for a second, guilty on every count. The sentence? 24 years, $5 million in restitution, and a lifetime ban from any HOA. Her last words to me, as she's led away, it really did just have wood in it. And yeah, I couldn't help but laugh. Pine Ranch is a new place now. Sophia is our new HOA president. First act, scrapping every idiotic rule Nancy ever pushed. Tom's free, finally himself, writing a book about his wild undercover life. I still work in my shop, still storing rosewood in that battered old safe, but now there's a small plaque on it. This safe helped save 47 neighborhoods. So here's my question for you. After all that, do you think HOAs are necessary, or are they just one bad president away from disaster? Have you ever dealt with a neighbor like Nancy? Drop your stories below, because as wild as this one sounds, I know everyone's got their own HOA nightmare waiting to be told. And hey, maybe your experience could help someone else dodge the next neighborhood scam. That's what community is all about, right?